If we take a look here, we're still going with one-step equations, but now we're using reciprocals. So as a quick refresher, we dealt with reciprocals when we were working with division. So if we had a term like 1/2, we'll list some reciprocals over here from the original fraction. So if we had the reciprocal of 1/2, we would flip this upside down. So where 2 was, it's now up top. Where 1 was, it's now down here. 2 over 1, we can just rewrite to 2. So that's one example. We could also take a look at 2/3. Let's call it negative 2/3. So if we flip this fraction, 3 goes up top, negative 2 goes in the denominator, and that was a pretty quick switch. So it really comes down to just rewriting the fraction, just kind of going topsy-turvy, rewriting the denominator as the new numerator as the new denominator. So notice these changes. And we do the same thing here when we're trying to solve these equations. So whenever we see a fraction as our coefficient, so notice this is when we have fractions as coefficients, which definitely happens. Although it might be a little intimidating, we can definitely work through this. It's not an issue. So for 2/3, we're multiplying with n. How could we use the reciprocal to get rid of this? Well, I know that if I multiply 2/3 by its reciprocal, and I'll write this on the side, if we had 2/3 times its reciprocal, 3/2, this just equals 1, which is good because then if your coefficient's 1, you pretty much solve for n, or your variable, whatever it might be. So this is something that we want to do here. So if we multiply both sides by 3/2, multiply that here and here by 3/2, we see here that multiplying with the reciprocal gets us 1 and n's along for the ride. This is now equal to 12 multiplying with 3/2. If you rewrite this with fractions for multiplication, you could eventually get 3 times 12, which is 36, over 2, which is now 18. So this is saying that collectively, when simplified, n equals 18. I'll give you a moment for the next one. Think about what our reciprocal is there. You should be multiplying both sides of this equation by negative 7/4. So flip that fraction, no shame. This will just leave us with c on the right-hand side. If we have negative 7/4 multiplying with 8, I'll leave this simplification up to you, but this should eventually get us to negative 14 equals c. And I'll give you a moment for the last one also. So our reciprocal is 1/3. So think about if we flip that, what would it look like? Hopefully you're thinking that we would multiply both sides by 3, or 3 over 1. Both ideas work. So 3 times negative 8 will get us negative 24. And this equals x. So reciprocals are a really big part of this section, as we see here. We'll see in the future sections that we have more than one step sometimes associated with problems. So if you were curious about anything on this, or if you have any questions, please come to class with those questions or email me. Again, my email is ccortez@cohs.com.